Good morning. Good morning. It's good to be with you again this Monday morning. Another episode of the Integrating Jewel space for us to simply breathe and be who we are, to tune into the presence of the Holy One in our midst, tune into what our bodies are speaking to us, what our hearts are speaking to us, tune into the voice and presence of love within us and all around us. So, what's happening in your world today? In my world, there's a lot of shit happening. I have a 1 year old puppy who's been sick, who goes back to the vet for some further tests today. Before I sat down for this time, I'm a little past my 9 o'clock time I shoot for. I was cleaning up some explosive diarrhea in the laundry room. Was woken up at 4:30 early Sunday morning in her crate with her brother, and so we had baths and disinfecting everything and loads of laundry, and it's continued since then. So. Have a cat that likes to throw up every morning from his IBS and has been now pooping on the carpet at the bottom of the stairs in the basement instead of in his box. So it's become a daily thing. And perhaps you have some actual physical shit that you're dealing with, or perhaps you just had some hard stuff that's like shit that stinks or is heavy or is hard in your life that you're working through. This is the space where we show up and bring all of that with us. And we just allow it to be what it is. And we sit with it and look deeply into it and breathe love into it so that it may be transformed by the power of God and the universe, the power of love in and through us, transformed into something beautiful and healing and peace fulfilled and joy filled and life creating. So today we're going to spend some time in the midst of all the stuff, all the shit that's going on in the world around us, within our own hearts and minds, within our own bodies, in our own lives. And we're going to sit with the energy of the divine being, the energy of God in creation, in creating all that is, this ongoing process of creation that you and I are both a product of and a part of. So thank you for being here in this time, this most important work of turning inward and taking a few moments to dwell in the moment, in these bodies, with the beloved, with the Holy One. So let's take a few breaths together as we get comfortable in our seats, noticing what's happening in our bodies, noticing how it feels in the seat, and let's just settle into this very moment, in this body, in this seat, in this place and time. The few deep, full breaths at your own pace. I've lit a candle today to help remind us of the light that shines within us. I also lit a candle to help cover up the smell of shit that still seems to be stuck in the air, even though it's been cleaned and sanitized and freshened. A reminder of the oneness of all creation, of all beings, the oneness of you and I, the oneness of God, the oneness of all that is. And whatever arises in us, whatever bodily sensations, whatever thoughts, whatever feelings, they're welcome here. You can greet them. Thank you for this body. Thank you for the experiences in this body. Oh God, may I learn to listen ever more deeply to the messages of this body, my body. Thank you for these thoughts. Thank you for these emotions, these experiences. All is welcome here. May our hearts and minds and beings, every cell of our being, every part of who we are, both our limited human physical being and our divine, eternal, unlimited being, may all parts of us be integrated as one and be opened to receiving the gifts of grace, the wisdom, the healing, the love, whatever is needed in our bodies and our minds and our beings and our souls this day. May we simply be an empty vessel, a receiving vessel for the gifts of grace that you have for us, that we need this day. Amen. Amen. The creation story from Genesis. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening and there was morning the first day. And God said, "Let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." So God made the dome and separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome, and it was so. And God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seeds in it." And it was so. And God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the dome of the sky." And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening and there was morning the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures of every kind, cattle and creeping things and wild animals of the earth of every kind." And it was so. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness. In the image of God, God created them, male and female, God created them. God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth." And then on the seventh day, God finished the work that God had done and rested on the seventh day from all the work. God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because on it God rested from all the work. As we hear these creation stories, I invite you to receive them with an open heart and mind, to listen to what the voice of your heart, the voice of love, the voice of the divine Holy One present and speaking in and through you has to say to you this day. And it's not so much about understanding with our minds, but it's about entering into the stories, into embodying them, into allowing them to speak deeply into our bodies, into our beings, whatever may come up, whatever arises in you as you hear these stories. I invite you and encourage you to notice it, to welcome it, to accept it, to dwell with your experience, to allow it to speak to you, to challenge you, to comfort you, to console you, to encourage you, to guide you, whatever it may be. We meet our own experience with kindness and tenderness, with compassion, with acceptance and gratitude. And we hear words from Wounds into Wisdom, written by Rabbi Tirzah Firestone. She shares a story, Freeing the Light. This section is entitled. It's a story of the origin in the Jewish world, in Judaism, of the mandate of Tikkun Olam, repair of the world, repair of the world, from which so many Jews derive meaning and life purpose. Yet its images are not exclusively Jewish. They can hold meaning for anyone. The story goes as follows. In the beginning of time, God was everywhere. God was everywhere. But God was lonely and wanted to be known. So God decided to bring the world into being. To make room for creation, God drew in a first breath to make an empty space in which the world might come into being. Into this empty space, God emanated a brilliant white light, and vessels came into being in which this divine light could be held and contained. The light flowed continuously like a luminous river, filling every space it could find. The vessels filled up, but then they began to quake. They could barely contain the voluminous stream of dazzling light. Rumbling fiercely, the vessels flew apart, shattering into millions of pieces, sending sparks of the white light like seeds and stars far and wide. Each spark came to be encased in one of the millions of broken shards, which buried its sparkling light deep within. To this day, we are still finding and uncovering the hard casings around the sparks of the world, freeing their light so that they can shine again. Tikkun Olam, repair of the world, freeing the light so that it can shine again, freeing the light within us, freeing the light within all living beings. Perhaps that's what's happening now with all the protests in response to the police brutality and racist violence that grips our country, our world. Perhaps we are being called to the work of Tikkun Olam, of repairing the world by freeing the light within our own hearts, within our own beings, and helping to uncover the hard casings around the sparks of the world, freeing the light in every other living being. Our world has been broken from the beginning, Rabbi Firestone writes. The creation myth tells us its primal flaw, an inability to contain the numinous light of creation, necessitates our work. Tikkun Olam names our task to find and uncover the light inherent in the shards of this world, no matter where it is hidden. No matter where it is hidden. Perhaps it's even hidden in the midst of the shit. In the midst of the fear, in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the death and the violence and the injustice. And in the compassionate, passionate response, in justice, in loving kindness, in forgiveness and reconciliation, in hope and joy and peacefulness. Where is that light of creation present in you this day? Where is that light pointing and leading you to tend to? Where in others, the world and creation around you, do you see the light of creation begging to be uncovered so that it can shine again? We progress to the next creation story from a book entitled Redvelations, written by Sera Beak. She describes, in her own words, her own experience of creation. And a reminder as we hear these words that we are simply hearing and receiving the expression of one soul, one being's experience. And it's not about understanding, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing with it. It's not about understanding it even. It's simply about receiving the gift of the expression of this one being's experience and just letting it dwell within our hearts and within our beings and allowing it to speak to us and have its way with us, trusting in the grace and the goodness and the love of God, speaking through the manifestations, the embodied forms of that love, of that oneness, through human beings like you and I, created beings. So we take a deep breath in and out and release all that we're holding so that we can be open vessels to receive this gift of grace, this gift of love from Sera Beak's experience of creation. She calls it the beginning. I have no beginning, but I've had a beginning in this universe. Essentially, I am my own universe, as are you. As a universe, I once heard an indescribably beautiful love song coming from this universe, the one you and I are currently inhabiting, inviting us all to experience and express ourselves inside of it. For this is what we universes do. We brush up against each other, enter each other, and engage in intimate relationship. We are necessary participants in each other's evolution. This universe sang about intriguing things like birth and death, masculine and feminine, light and dark, organic and synthetic, pleasure and pain, cherry pie and chipmunks, forgetting and falling apart, remembering and coming back together. In other words, it sang the song of itself. And as you know, it is spectacular. I responded instantaneously the way a universe can't help but respond when it has met its evolutionary match. And I projected a fractal of my universal being into this universal being, where I experienced a love unlike any other. This universe had split itself into two, a divine masculine and a divine feminine, so it could make love with itself and give birth to us. One and two created a third. I contain all the qualities of this universe, but I maintain my own universe's essence, which in this universe manifests as red. Red is a name for the part of me that is eternal, infinite, connected to all that is, but also utterly unique. Red is my sacramental signature in the book of life and my sacrificial offering in this love story. Red is my divine soul. You too have a divine soul with your own significant signature and unmatched offering. You too are a distinct divine being, in essence equal to, but different from, the distinct divine being of this universe. This truth of who we are has been repeatedly forgotten, but always known. It has been buried inside us. It's the foundation of our journey away from ourselves and now back home to ourselves. Remembering and reclaiming ourselves is imperative. For our own universe's essence is what this universe desires and needs in order to become itself. And we desire and need this universe's essence in order to become ourselves. It is a reciprocal relationship. It is a living love. It is a holy harmony that we can only play together. There is a simpler way to view this. Our human parents created us, a physical baby with their genes, traits, and perhaps sense of humor. But our parents did not create our soul. Similarly, our divine parents came together to create our body in this universe, but they did not create our divine soul, which is a fractal of an already existing universe. Our divine parents want us to offer something new to their universe and be ourselves with them. A few family snapshots. The father and the mother and the child who is becoming an adult. The divine masculine and the divine feminine and the divine soul. The creator and the creatrix and the creatives. No matter how you view us, we are a trinity of true love. I'll allow a moment for that to settle in and to dwell with whatever words are spoken to you, whatever is arising within your heart, within your being, within your body. To welcome it, to honor it, to listen to it, to look deeply into it. We will end our time today with the Divine Feminine. It's an oracle book by Meggan Watterson with different manifestations, symbols, living beings, other goddesses that are worshipped in different traditions. That is fun to dwell with and hear from and sit with and see what's created in us and spoken to us. And Yemoja. Yemoja is who we're going to hear from today. The goddess of all that flows. I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. Who she is. Yemoja represents the creative force of the unconscious, the secret depths that bring the unseen into the physical realm. The African goddess Yemoja gave birth to all the 14 gods and goddesses in the Yoruba religion. She is caring and nurturing and yet also fiercely protective and strong, with a desire to relieve her children of any struggles or sorrows. She is worshipped at the ocean or in any flowing body of water, though it is said that her true home is the Ogun River in Nigeria. She is considered to be a mermaid whose energy, blessings, and power flows through all forms of water, cleansing, renewing, inspiring, and reminding us of the limitless love that we are. In Brazil and Uruguay, she has offered succulent food and gifts on tiny boats cast out to the sea from the beaches. Her worshippers ask her to give them her blessings so that their desires in the new year can manifest. She is the queen of the ocean, the ruler of the subconscious, and the creative force that allows us to translate the ineffable into art. As the mother of all, she is the energy that brings new life into this world. Yemoja creates a flow where before there was a block or a stagnation in our life force. When we feel uninspired or stuck in life or in a creative endeavor, from having a child to writing a book, Yemoja is the feminine essence that sets our energy back in motion. As a mermaid, she exists both in the world. Hold this up so we can see still. She exists both in the world and also in the unseen depths. She can help us dive down deep into the unconscious or into the collective unconscious and retrieve the hidden secrets or the wise pearls that we need to integrate now for our life to flow again. As the Queen of the Ocean, she baptizes us to start over, to begin again right now, to let everything become brand new. She encourages us to use water as a ritual to send out our offerings to her, to bless our bodies in a warm bath, or to walk along a body of water and allow its perspective to give us the answer or blessing we seek. Yemoja wants to cleanse us of the thoughts that are holding us back. Why do children calm down after a bath? Why do we feel healed and more centered after a nice long soak? Water is the element that held us in the womb. The return to our first and most primal element, the loss of gravity, the freedom of buoyancy. This allows us to release feelings or thoughts of being trapped or stuck. Yemoja reminds you to use your tail. You are not of this earth, you are of the sea. Yemoja, in the Yoruba religion, an African tradition. What do I need? What do you need to bring forth from out of the depths into the material world this day? Let's sit with this story. Let's sit with that for a moment and listen to the voice of love, the voice of the Holy One, the voice of our hearts, our inner guide. What is it that you are being asked and called to bring forth out of the depths into this physical material world this day? We can continue to sit with this. We can continue to listen. We can continue to return to our breath as we move about our day, knowing that we are not alone, that the Holy One, that God breathes and lives within us, within all living creatures among us, that there are infinite ways of experiencing the infinite manifestations of the Holy One, the ongoing creation that we are a part of, both as products and active participants. How are you being called and invited into creation this day? How are you being molded and formed and shaped and created this day? What is it that your heart, that your soul, that your inner guide, your being is crying out for to help create this day? Whatever it is, may you listen to it, trust it with gratitude, and may you have the courage, the strength, and the wisdom to live out that which you are called to create this day and every day. May you know that you are fully seen, that you are fully heard, that you are fully loved. May you know that this world, this universe, the God of all creation, may you know that who you are and what you have to offer is desperately needed in our world today. Each of us, uniquely and specially made with a piece, a fractal of that light of creation within us that only we can offer. May we be encouraged and inspired and energized this day to offer the gift of ourselves, the gift of our lives, whatever it is that's being created and spoken forth through our hearts, through our minds, through our words, through our actions, through our very beings. And may the world, may this universe, may creation be blessed, may it be healed, may it be made whole. May we all know, may we all remember that we are one creation, one love in infinite forms. The divine in me sees and honors the divine in you. Namaste.